Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Everardo Resendiz. People around here in North Louisiana know me as Coach Ever. I am a certified executive and business coach with Action Coach in the north part of the state. Today, I have Alysson Bourque with Expound Publicity as my guest, and we're going to be talking about her business, the journey to business ownership, challenges, best practices, and share a peek into what it really is like to own and to build a business. So if this is your first time on the channel, please be sure to like and subscribe so you get notifications when we drop new conversations just like this one. And so, Alysson, welcome and thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me on, Coach.
Well, would you share with us a little overview of your background, what got you there, and tell us about Expound Publicity. What do you guys have to offer the marketplace?
Absolutely. So, I have a background in elementary education from the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. And so, I taught school for 1 year and always wanted to go to law school. And of course, this was the time where the movie Legally Blonde came out. So, I watched the movie. I
Got
got me,
inspired.
I was so inspired. I got a dog named Bruiser. And I applied for law school. And so I ended up getting into law school and a few years later passed the bar the first time, started practicing as Assistant Attorney General for the state of Louisiana for nearly 10 years. While doing that, I had two young kids at the time, and I was having trouble balancing this, lawyer lifestyle with two young kids, and my husband was working, full time as well. So I took a temporary retirement just to spend more time with them. And while doing that, I started reading them books. And we wanted more books for the bookshelf. So I told them I would write them a story. Um, Long story short, I submitted that to a publisher, got picked up, published 10 books in the Alley Cat series since. Um, then the pandemic occurred and all authors were at a standstill. There was this new digital marketplace instead of in-person marketing and appearances. And
Hmm.
so I started trying to find ways to develop um, an audience in this new digital era that we had fallen into.
Right.
So I started a podcast, I started a read aloud, I did a lot of online promotions, and different authors kept coming to me and asking for help with their marketing. And so that was in 2020. So I decided to start Expound Publicity and help authors market their books as well. And that started in August 2020. And now, almost 6 years later, we are thriving. I've helped close to 600 authors market their book both in person, digitally, and having the most wonderful time doing so.
Okay, so this comes out of a challenge, right? You see that the marketplace shifted and you had to come up with this effective way of getting the word out there. And so I'm assuming that the old type of marketing still played a factor, but it's been perhaps more and more as we were able to get out of our houses and go and be in public.
Yes, so we were reinventing the wheel, but using some of those things that we were good at. We were good at reading, having story time. We couldn't do that in person, so decided to research tools. There was a software called Be Live, and we were able to go live on there and Facebook and be able to still tap into our audience. And today we're still having these changes and challenges with AI surfacing so
Right.
quickly. We
That's
have to
right.
adapt. And we can't do the same old trying to get earned media in marketing and we don't want to be replaced, so we have to learn and grow.
So it's the idea, that, of course, that the changes that we're facing in the marketplace are happening now at a much faster pace, and that's been true forever. But with the advent of AI, we see that it's almost like we're being driven to participate and to really take advantage of those, right? So, very good. So, would you set the stage for the viewers, the listeners? Um, what does the current ownership structure look like? I mean, are you the sole owner, founder, all hats? Do you have any other investors? What's your team like?
Yes, so I am the CEO and founder of Expound. I'm the sole owner. I have some top experts that work with me and alongside me. I have great relationships with vendors who work on our campaigns that I've been working with for years. We have such a great relationship. I do not have any investors. I don't have a board. I wear all the hats. I like. I'm a bit of a control freak with my business because I've seen this type of world and industry, and you have to be able to control efficiency and financially and work ethic. And so I do wear all the hats, but I do have some really great experts that work alongside me and publicists who can help client facing and reaching out to media outlets.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, and so when you look at your role, right, the CEO and all the functions that it entails, um, how would you describe, how your time is being utilized? I mean, evidently you have to be very involved in the operations and making sure that all the pieces are moving, right? How much of your time is used to really do the higher level thinking, the on the business kind of thing, strategy, planning, et cetera, et cetera.
So my focus is the vision, it is leadership, and it is scaling. And that, besides putting our clients first, I want this business to thrive because I want our clients to succeed. Those hours, they vary week to week, but as a CEO, it does not stop. I cannot control what the work that comes in, but I can control how much I work. So, there are nights I work until 11 p.m. and I try to balance that because I have two teenagers now, and time is limited before they go off to college, but I love what I do. I love waking up in the morning and checking emails and finding out the wins of our clients and what kind of consulting that they might need for that day. And when you love what you do and you have a team of clients and you're a part of their lives and their wins, there's nothing better.
Fills your cup every day, doesn't it?
Mhm.
I
Yep.
love it. Okay, and so let's move on to what makes your business so special. Um, who primarily does your business serve? I mean, if I'm in the audience, how do I know I'm a good fit for what you're offering?
Yes, so we primarily serve authors and thought leaders in the marketing industry. So we started with just book marketing, and we serve and focus on strategies for all genres. So children's picture books, self-help books, adult books, self-publishing, hybrid publishing, and traditional. We service all of those different authors, but we've now moved into product placement and brand awareness. It just naturally flowed. We have a lot of authors who have other businesses and they asked us to help them with those products or their business and brand. And so we've been able to integrate into now doing products, which is so much fun.
That
And
is very, very interesting, Alison. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but when you do something well, right? Normally it attracts other things that you were not planning at the beginning, but they certainly become opportunities for you to take advantage of. And so, wow, that's amazing. It
yeah,
says a
yeah.
lot.
If you have repeat customers and you also have customers who will refer you to others, then you know your business is working.
That's
And
right.
that's what we have. And we don't do a lot of advertisement for Expound, which we should because we're a marketing firm. But we have such an influx of clients and campaigns based on just word of mouth, and it's the best. And what separates us from other marketing agencies, especially in the industry of books, is that we customize each campaign to each author's budget and to their needs. We don't just throw something at the wall and see if it sticks. We're going to make sure that we can get them results.
About, talking to the right people in the right places. And so I love that. And so, what is one thing that you wish more people knew about Expound Publicity?
So I think the one thing I wish they would know about us is that we become a team with our clients.
Mm.
These clients of ours, they don't realize that once they sign their contract that we become this unit and I want the best for them. I want to be a part of their journey. I am a consultant as well. I've been in the industry for a long time. So if their book needs, a different graphic design for placement, I'm there to help them. I would love for people to know that we are full service, where we become a part of your brand and brand awareness and get that digital footprint for you for long-term visibility. We're not just here just for one service and then we're gone. I want to be a part of the team, and we have customers and clients that have done a campaign and they haven't released another book, but 4 or 5 years later, they'll email and say, "Hey, what would you recommend for this? I'm doing a reprint." And I am so happy to hear from them. And so that's not typical with businesses. If you're not paying them and currently under campaign and contract, sometimes they don't answer your emails, but I love hearing from clients throughout their journey.
Outstanding, Alison. But that leads me to the question of capacity always, you know, a successful business will have demand, right? And that demand needs to be managed, right? Based on how much can you actually serve. So how do you manage that demand so that it's not ever a place where you perhaps lower your standards or don't provide the value that your customers are looking for?
So recently, I've hired, of course, a publicity assistant to help me with those tasks that I shouldn't really be spending my time on, even though I love being a part of, developing somebody's website. I think me nurturing the contacts with media and vendors is important, and being client facing is more important. So what I've done is I've hired on assistants. I've actually hired on different publicists and currently looking for some publicists right now who would like to come in and help us garner more clients and do campaigns just like Expound does, and help with some of the smaller campaigns. And by doing this, I think that they will learn about the industry and then they'll develop a future for themselves and be able to market not just books, but products as well.
Love it. Love it. So, it demands that you grow, right? And it demands that you leverage some of those things that provide value to your customers. And so that is outstanding. But the question that I ask about, what do you want people to know about you, always leads me to the marketing part, right? It's an area that it's vital for every business, right? And often it's an area that people struggle with. Okay. Um, because everything is marketing. Everything we do is marketing. So how do we structure it in a way um that makes sense, right? That is not throwing money at it without really being able to see the results of it. What do you do? How do you normally do these for yourself?
These campaigns for myself,
Yeah.
is
I
that what
mean,
you're
you mentioned
asking?
that you don't do much of
Okay.
it, but you do some, I'm assuming, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So for marketing campaigns, we look at it like the goal is, if you look at marketing as a wheel, and the goal is in the middle of that wheel, and all the spokes around the wheel make that goal happen and gets you somewhere. So the different spokes of the wheel might be advertisements, the next one, media outreach, next one, virtual book tours, in person. There are so many things, so many spokes of the wheel that make it go round. And when you do all of those things in tandem at the same time, you get the best long-term results. And so what I don't do is I don't just do a one-off media outreach. I don't do a one-off service. I do several things at one time to get the most impact. It's we say in marketing that especially book marketing, it's a marathon and not a sprint. But really, what it is, it's a relay race that is actually a marathon. So you're really just kind of handing off the baton to each next service and next marketing outreach to build on how far you've come. And so within 10 years, and you continue marketing, you've built on your network, your credibility, your visibility, and now you're really just almost on autopilot and you still just have to just keep out there.
That's right. That's right. I love it. Well, you use the analogy of a wheel. Um, I like to use the analogy of a fishing guy on a lake, right? The majority of people kind of focus on only having one or two lines on the water,
Mhm.
and that's good. That may get you some food here and there. What if you actually could cast 10 nets rather than just two lines, right? What
Absolutely.
kind of predictability can you have if you have that going on for you? Maybe that's a bad analogy, but I love the way that you're putting it. And so, how do you track your leads? Do you have a CRM? How do you maintain those relationships with people that reach out to you?
Yeah, so my website will have a lead magnet on there, and so we always provide something of value,
Mm.
whether it is a marketing checklist or do's and don'ts of 2026 for marketing. And so, if they want to download an offering off of our website, it'll track that download and follow up as well. So that's employed through our website. I use Flowdesk for my newsletters. I think that's super important to keep people up to date. But in today's world, trust is a big thing with advertisements and marketing and lead magnets. There's so much out there, so many bots. And so we used to say it would take somebody three times of seeing your product before they remember it, and then they have a call to action and they actually
Right,
follow through. It's about 15 times now. You've got to see something, a product 15 times to be able to trust that product, just because of AI and because of bots. And there's so much content out there. And so
right.
I I very much recommend humanizing your marketing and not just putting out videos where it doesn't show you as a human, having that human aspect, because people are very leery on trusting with AI.
Love it. Thank you so much. That's very good insight. So we spent much time focused on the business and sharing a few of those practices with the audience. But I'd love to take a step back and dive a little bit more into your journey, which is really what we're looking for in these, right? That experience of yours and how does it, um, enrich other people's journey into the business ownership, right? And so, mention you start out of a need that you see people are reaching out to you. They want to know how it is that you're having success, and that in itself turns into this engine of yours, this marketing company. Um, Take us through that decision, okay? Because no matter what it is, if you're good at what you're doing, people are going to come to you and ask you to share with them some of these wisdom or knowledge that you have, right? Um, but from there, from being able to provide somebody with some advice to actually creating a business, there's a big gap, right? There's a lot going into it. So how did you make a decision like that?
So when I first started, we started with one client, and I perfected that campaign and made sure that number one, I tried all the services myself first. I want to have a first-hand account of any hiccups that could come. I made sure that I was good with the vendors and we had a good relationship. Those are the people that are the gatekeepers. And so you want to make sure your vendors, your suppliers are the ones, and your media, that you have a connection with and they're in your network. So I started with one client and we made that campaign the best we could. We didn't. charge as much as we should. And I think every new business starts that way, is not charging as much as your value is. We quickly learned that if you want to be taken seriously, you have to charge what your value is. And our value was we were the do it for you firm. We are not teaching you how to do this, we're doing it for you, and that has value. And so when we decided to take on our second client, then we had to increase our rates because we had to make some money to be able to finance our overhead, which is invoicing, our softwares, emails, website, all of those things. So as we grew, we actually had set the services per hours of what hours it took for us to facilitate those services, and quickly realized that customers didn't understand that. They didn't understand an hour to value ratio. So I decided that we needed to make it easier for them to understand. So each one of our services are a set price now. And so you get this, you get your ebook bestseller promotion for this price. It's very clear. They don't have to overthink it. And I wanted to make it easy for them. And so those are little things that we shifted along the way, and it grew. And so those initial clients had such a good experience that they told their publishers, and then their publishers were now contracting out to us for marketing. And so that's how we grew from providing a really good service to an individual who had a contact with a greater good, a greater opportunity. And so that networking within doing your business is what scaled us initially.
Gotcha. And so, what I'm hearing you say is that it wasn't really um, a point where you decided, yeah, I'm going to go into business. It was sort of an organic, and you decided, yes, I'm going to try these, right? I'm going to help this person, and from there you see, okay, there's some life to this idea, and now you move into this. That's great. Am I describing that correctly?
Absolutely. And it was the same with my book series that I wrote. I didn't know that I was a good writer for children's books, and I knew I could write law briefs. I could write lesson plans. I had no idea that I had that talent. And I think a lot of us don't really tap in and try different things to see what we're actually really good at. And
That's
so
right. And thank you for that because people need to hear that. We sometimes devalue our own abilities, right? Or don't actually try things because we don't really know whether we can have a talent at anything.
it's true. And I had no idea. And so, the books that I have, the Alley Cat series, it grew by saying yes to opportunities, and doors that opened slightly, I pushed them open and said yes to it. And that's the same way I did Expound. Someone asked for help or somebody needed something. I provided the best I could a service to help them. And it's all about helping people. The books, that was helping people. The marketing firm, it's about helping people. And um, when you're doing that for the greater good, more opportunities arise.
That's for sure. I love that. Thank you so much, Allison. Well, as you look at your journey so far, it's not all roses and rainbows, right? You have challenges that come along. Um, in these years that you've been operating, what would you say has been perhaps the most difficult mountain to climb, the challenge that really took you back and maybe knock you on your heels for a little bit?
So the biggest challenge I had was letting go of certain things that weren't working for me. Just because you do something for years doesn't mean you have to continue. And it took me a while to let go of a certain something that did not align with my values, my goals, my vision. And once I did that, I felt a huge relief. And,
Right.
you just have to be aligned. You have to trust your gut. And have this um, have this mindset that consistency doesn't mean that you have to um, keep doing what you're doing if it's not aligning, because you won't have progress that way. You're going to be at a standstill.
So I have a coach, okay, that is she's a great coach. Her name is Tracy, and she continues to bring this message forward, which is we should not optimize what shouldn't exist. And what
Mm.
she means is really holding on to those things that we've done, and maybe at some point they work, but at some point they also stop being, things that we need to hold on to. And so that's an insight that most people don't get. Let me then ask you, if you're willing to share, what led you to come to that point? Because it doesn't happen in a vacuum. It isn't like one day you decided, I'm gonna let go.
Right.
Something had to be happening for you that created the need for you to do something different.
So it's when I realized that alignment matters more than attachment. And I am a creature of habit. I'm very methodical, and that's the way that I live my life. But I realize that in business, I don't have to be aligned with something just because I'm attached to something. And so I kept getting this feeling inside that just did not feel right. It was absolutely not settling well with me. And that's the hardest part about being a business owner, CEO, is letting go um, people and systems that don't work because you have to grow and they have to be aligned. And not that my way of doing things is right, but I want to do things the right way. And if they're
Right.
not done the right way, they're not going to be successful.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And so let's now look into the future, right? You've been through that, and I'm sure that now is part of what you do on a regular basis, this alignment and this idea. Okay, let's review what it is that we shouldn't continue doing. What do we need to stop doing? What do we need to start doing? What do we need to do more of, right? But as we move forward into the future, what do you see happening with Expound Publicity in the next 3 to 5 years?
So right now, I am trying to get as educated with AI as I can, and that is for the benefit of my clients. So I want to integrate AI into our systems. That way I'm more efficient and I can help my clients be more efficient. And so those are some things that I am educating myself on. I'm also very partnership led, and these partnerships are with vendors that I can trust, that I can call on. They know I'm going to send them a good product, and they admire the books that I send, the clients I send, because I'm going to send them people who do a great job on an interview or have a really good quality book and have a message to be shared. So making sure that my partnerships with vendors and media is solid is my primary goal. And just making sure that the marketing is done in tandem. So the services have to be done together to be able to make an impact. And so, just operating in those with that mindset and with those goals and resources is where I'm at for 2026. And I've been meeting some really great people this year so far, and they have been um, just such a bright light for the industry. And I'm so excited because these people are like-minded. They're ready for results. They're ready to partner, and it makes me so excited for my clients to be able to share them with these different vendors and media.
So I like to use the metaphor, or perhaps the graphic of a solar system, right? If you're really following a good purpose, right? You're doing things for the right reasons. you tend to become like a son. And that means that there's going to be gravity around you, bringing a lot of things right into this system that we have. And yet, not all of it um, will be, say, things that we need to commit to, right?
Mhm.
So I'm going to ask you this because it just sounds to me from where you are in business that you have also gone from, you said to start, you had to say yes to a lot of things. But at
Mhm.
some point, you start saying no,
Exactly.
right? And
Mhm.
so, what would you recommend to a business owner? Um, there's a point in which that switch has to flip, right? We say
Mhm.
yes, 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 yes. At some point, we have to start saying no, yes
Mhm.
to some, but not to all of it, right? So, think of your journey, where you have been. Um, what are the indicators? What tells you that it's time to start saying no?
So I think it has to do with demand and value. So number one, when the demand is there and your bandwidth has shrunk, then you know that your value needs to be greater. And all of our value needs to be greater. We have to hold ourselves um, to our value and charge for things. So for author visits, they need to charge. That's their time and their value. They're valuable. So when the demand increases, that's when I start being very conscious about letting uh, new clients in, new people in my life, new vendors. I hold this business like I'm a gatekeeper of it, and I do not want anything or anyone to come into my business and rock our world where we can't manage. And so what I do is if my bandwidth is at its limit, and as well as my publicist, we're not going to take anyone else in because we're going to provide number one quality service for our clients. And then there's a point where you have built your credibility for so many years and you know where you've been, what you've done the free stuff, you've put yourself out there, you've had the long hours. It's time to put value to that. And so typically my consults have a charge because if I open up my consults for, indefinitely with a free consult, I will get consults every single hour of the week. And a lot of people just want a roadmap. There are some that actually do want help. So you have to realize then and there that you have to be efficient. So you have to value your time.
Yeah, yes, and it's hard because
Mhm.
you get so used to saying yes to everything that um, shifting to a no, it's a big undertaking. So let's encourage people, right? To say there's a point in which you will feel the pressure and it's
Yes.
time to start saying no, right? And so we have certainly covered a lot of in this conversation today, a lot of things. And for those people who are watching, I highly encourage you to save these and come back a few times, watch it again. There's a lot of great nuggets in here. And so as we begin to wrap up, I have a few rapid fire questions. And so quick, top of answers for each. Okay, what is the key to success for you?
Trust.
Love it. What is your one piece of advice for other business owners?
So build your systems before you need them and make sure that you get ahead of the game.
All right, this question you're gonna like quite a bit. And it's what is one book that you're reading or you have read that you believe everybody in business should have access to?
So I'm currently reading and love this book, Connect Better, and it's Connect with a K. And it is a great book about nurturing your relationships within your business and your home life. Because if we're solid with those relationships, then we can be solid CEO and business and entrepreneurs.
Anything that helps you be better at communicating. And this is now becoming almost a crisis because we're not anymore making those real deep connections with people.
Right.
Everything is in the surface. We have lost the ability to really connect and find those things that will attract us together to really build something from. And so, absolutely, I wholeheartedly agree. Great book. So, if you had to choose only one area of your business that you could immediately improve tomorrow, what would that be?
So I would say my speed of execution without sacrificing quality. I want to be more efficient, but I don't want to sacrifice the quality. And that's one thing that I'm currently working on is being more efficient.
Okay. All right. So, before we get into the final question of the day, how can other people learn more about you, the company, the things that you offer? Um, how can they get in touch with you, and why should they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so anyone who has a book or product or a brand, I am happy to help with their marketing. Even if it's a business that might need a little bit of consulting, I do that as well. I enjoy it. I've tried every single system out there and I know what works and what has the most value as well. And so people can find me at my website, expoundpublicity.com. They're welcome to email me. It's Ally, ALY, at expoundpublicity.com as well. And I'm on every social media platform you can probably find because that's marketing.
That's right. That's right. Okay, and so is there an offer for them to make that move?
Yes, yes. So in the month of February, I'm going to be offering free consultations, and I will provide that link for people to book. And it'll be a 30-minute call and talk all about marketing strategies.
I love it. I love it. So, when you start a business, there's something that inspires you. It could be the people that are asking you to help. It could be the vision that you have of a future from it, right? In most cases, when you start, there's just a point that you need to reach, and that's what inspires you to move. But, you know, after a few years of doing it and doing it well, that sort of shifts. And so my question to you is, what inspires you today? What gets you out of bed and going? Because it really is what's driving everything forward.
So it's the fact that I'm building something that is helping other people succeed and create a journey for them that makes their dreams come true. When I hear a client say, "You're a dream maker," I mean, I don't feel that way. I'm very humble, but when they say these things, it makes me so motivated to help another person and another person to feel the same way.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing all that with us and for joining us today. And your abundance in um, showing up to the world and letting them see a little bit into your world. So thank you for that. Thank you to the audience for watching and sharing. Truly, I'm just gonna encourage everybody, there is nothing like receiving something from somebody that thinks that they need to hear it. And truly, what you heard today may help somebody else. And so make sure you share it. And so, Allison, thank you again for being here. And everybody else, make it a great time. Until next time.